Hello, hopefully you like the content on this video. I do online coaching, and if you can't get to Nottingham, that's where I'm based. Um, Please like, share, subscribe. I'm not got my cue out today. I'm waiting for my camera before I do a few more instructional videos. I've done a few practice routines the last few weeks. I feel that's become a bit of a snooze fest. So this week, I'm going to talk about my top 5 myths that I hear whilst I've been coaching, and I think people are chasing the tail a little bit. And the first one is, to be a good player, you've got to have a straight cue action. Or if you cue straight, you will definitely be a good player. This is not true. Not true. I think people generally are wrapped up in just having this perfectly straight cue action, and whilst they're on this journey to try and get this perfect cue action, they're actually not thinking about where they're aiming, how to play the game. And I know I bang on about it all the time, but people are not learning how to play the game. There's so much more to it than just cueing straight. You must know loads of people that cue straight that aren't that good. Um, uh, and there's loads of professionals, loads of examples of good professionals. There's a couple of players you may have heard of, Judd Trump, and a guy from the 90s, Stephen Hendry. Google him if you're struggling. He was a decent player. Um, they didn't cue perfectly straight, but what they did, they had a cue action that they can repeat, and they get the tip to the part of the white they need to do. And like I said, learning to know where to hit on the white for shots is more important, because, like I said in some of my previous videos, if you're aiming in the correct spots of the white, you don't actually have to be that good a cueist. The shots are easier and more makeable. And I obviously want a person in the game that's got a perfectly straight cue action is Neil Robertson. If Neil Robertson was a bad aimer, he'd be the worst player in the world because he'd miss everything. He's not a good player. He's not a great player because of that. He just helps him. So, yes, my advice is to try and get something that can repeat, even if it's not perfectly straight, and learn how to play the game. Second one is, don't squeeze the cue through impact. Keep your grip really light. Now, I haven't done a post on grip yet. I'm waiting for my new camera to come out. You've heard that, but a new camera coming. I'm very excited. Yes, I've heard a few things. I've seen a few things. People saying that when you make contact with the white, or when you follow through, you shouldn't squeeze. I mean, that is so wrong, right? You don't have to do the squeeze. So the squeeze is a thing, right? It's an actual thing, right? You don't have to do it. Some players use it more than others. There's quite a wide range of different squeeze strengths, but it's generally accepted by people that can play the game that is a thing. So if anybody tells you that you shouldn't do that, delete them from your life. Also, like I said, you don't have to use the squeeze. It's just, don't not use it if you can. So, yeah, strange one. 3, I've seen a few and heard people talking about, your shoulders and your arms have got to be sort of all straight behind your head, and all that. I mean, there's a few players in the game, but there's 3 players in particular that are great examples of how that is absolute nonsense. You've got Mark Williams. He's decent. Ray Reardon, he weren't bad either. And another player in the game at the minute is Jimmy Robertson. They're sort of chicken wing, arms out here. How can they play with that? Again, people are on this pursuit to get this perfect cue action that's so neat and tidy and all that. And again, whilst they're doing this, whilst they're on this mad journey to try and get this perfect setup, they're not playing the game. They're not learning. They're chopping and changing, and they're just sort of running at a wall, and they're not going to get better for it. So if you just set up dead straight, that's great. But if you don't, your cue action basically is get your cue, get comfortable, anchor it to your chest, hopefully your chin as well, and just repeat your hit and just play the game. That's really as technical as it is, to be honest. But I think people are making it, it's not rocket science, it's only snooker. So, yes, if anybody tells you that having your arm out air is in any way sabotaging you, that is not the case. Another one is you've got to have your arm vertical, neither in or out, like that. I mean, I think a couple of players, examples, you've got John Higgins. He is out there and he's all right. And another player, I think Paul Hunter, I think he was a bit out. I could go trawling through the internet finding pictures of Paul, but I'm sure he was a little bit out, what I remember. In all fairness, I would always say if you are inside, I think there's not many players that are inside. I think Luca Breckel's one. I think he's inside a little bit. I'm not quite sure, but I would always, if you can not vertical, be outside. I think you catch it a bit earlier. But I mean, again, it's just you pick the cue up. If it's comfortable a bit out, crack on. I mean, it's not going to make a difference. It really won't. Unless it's too far out or too close, obviously, but again, that got to be vertical is not the case. It really isn't. Don't worry yourself, just play. Another one, number 5, is a shorter cue action. Helps with accuracy. So what that I've heard that is if you pull the cue back not very far, then obviously to get it back to the part of the white, that obviously helps with accuracy. I can understand the theory behind that, but I mean, just look of all the great players. I mean, they've all got longer swings. Ronnie O'Sullivan, John Higgins, Mark Selby, Neil Robertson. Yes, like I say, the theory of if you just put it back that much, and then you can get back to that part of the white. But the benefits of a longer swing far outweigh the risk of coming offline. Just ball striking, more power. I'm doing a post on timing soon when I get my new camera. I don't know if you've heard, and that will talk about how a longer swing helps. So. Yes, I mean, just look at, don't take my word for it. Look at all the best players. Most of them have got a longer swing. In the end, to play any shot, you've got to get the tip to the white at a certain point, a certain speed, in a certain direction, right? So the only thing that really matters is that if you can get your tip consistently to these spots, you will obviously make more shots. I know I'm like a dog with a bone, and people are getting wrapped up in all this stuff, and it's no good. Get something you can repeat and crack on. You shouldn't be worrying about where your toes are pointing or whether you've wore your lucky pants, right? I've tried all these things, got loads of unlucky pants, right? And all these rabbit holes that you can go down. I've been down them all. Very dark and dingy places, horrible. Fortunately I survived and I've come out of them. And hopefully that's why I'm trying to sort of preach this a little bit, because I see a lot of frustrated amateurs. I didn't realise actually, because I've been in the pro game for so long, and I only talk to professionals basically and watch professional snooker. Some professionals, well, most professionals at some point have sort of blown their head up with getting involved in this stuff. But I didn't realise how much amateur snooker players were really, really sort of, a lot of them were so obsessed with all this. And I think there's a bit of a misinformation, like I say, that they think that if they can get a good technique, they're going to be good players. Definitely not the case, obviously. And I think it's stopping them improving and actually stopping the enjoyment, which I think, the saddest thing about it, because most players are playing the game for pleasure, and you know, if they're just being wrapped up in this stuff, it's not good, you know, and then they end up not playing in the end, you know. So I've had a few people come to me that are wrapped up in this stuff, and when I've sort of just, it's more of a myth busting exercise rather than me telling them stuff. You know, the first half an hour, I'm just saying no, 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 and the amount of people have like had just a couple of hours with me, they've gone away, they've got some basic things to play to remember, and then they just play better because they concentrate on actually potting the ball. So I think that the best mindset, whatever level you're playing at, you just want to be thinking pot that to get on that. The snooker cue action, the technique is running in the background. It's more of a feeling than anything else. So you can just feel the shot, you know, and just, like I say, focus on where the balls are actually going. So yes, hope that was okay. Please comment if you either agree or disagree, and hopefully my bit of kit will come and I can give more instructional videos.